Okay, it is Sunday, and we're still in section on what am I? I am God's son, complete and healed and whole. And today is lesson number 353. The reason why I'm laughing is there's probably a number of reasons why I'm laughing as I read these lessons. And look at what, I don't know how to say this, okay. When I read this lesson, how do I say this? Okay. This is the lesson where you finally decided to accept the body as it is. And because it's your dream, Jesus says this somewhere, I think, when he talks about the resurrection. The lesson 353 is, by the way, my eyes, my tongue, my hands, my feet today have but one purpose, to be given Christ to use to bless the world with miracles. Okay, God, Father, I give all that is mine to Christ today. Do you understand that there was a point in time in the life of Jesus where this was his resolution, because he realized there was nothing left for him to do within the world of space and time? And yet, even with the realization and the revelation he was having and the guidance that he was receiving, here he was. He found himself, as you and I do, undergoing experiences that are in line with what has been revealed to me in reality. And to you, if you haven't had a revelatory experience, it's in line with what Jesus has been talking to us about since the very beginning of A Course in Miracles. Okay? There are many people who think when they read the line, I need do nothing, that they actually try to do nothing or say they need do nothing as they continue to go about with their life, telling people they need do nothing. And that's not the intention of I need do nothing. The intention of I need do nothing is I need do nothing to be whole and perfect as God created me, simply because I can't do anything to change that. It's an eternal, infinite, changeless state. Okay? There's a moment where we stop making ourselves up in our mind. We stop making an ego for ourselves, an image, and making an image and ego for all of our brothers. We stop using the body's eyes and say, wait a second. We discover what it is to need do nothing within our mind and heart in order for us to be what we are. Generally, it comes because we get tired of doing what we're doing and not getting satisfactory results to give us the happiness and joy that we're doing anything for. Okay, but there's a moment when you really do need, and you find out, wow, I have always been exactly as God created me. Not as a concept, but as an experience, as a reality. It peeks through when you stop the busyness of your doing mind, or the mind that's telling you what you either need to do or don't need to do. Okay? Not doing anything is not the same as I need do nothing. Okay? The need to do nothing is in your mind, not within the world of space and time. Okay? Because you will continue, as Jesus did, to do things within the world of space and time, except as this says, you're going to do them for a single purpose, not for any of the purposes that the world of space and time told you had to do things for before. Now, that does not mean that your brothers can see that you've accepted a single purpose and are only doing things for that purpose. Okay, that doesn't mean that people will see that. That happens with the anonymity of your own mind and in the following of the guidance as to what you should do in order to help your own advancement in the function of your atonement. Nobody can compel you to do anything, including the guidance that you get. You have to follow it. It is in God's doing God's will that we discover the joy of who we are. Father, I give all that is mine today to Christ to use in any way that best will serve the purpose that I share with him. In reality, we share the purpose of Christ as the creative principality of our Father. In space and time, as Jesus says, forgiveness is parallel to creation. So we utilize our mind for the purpose of remembering who we are in creation as miracles which induce action. The idea of inducing action is the idea that no longer are we responding to forces outside of ourselves. We have stopped and allowed something to happen within us that induces a miraculous action from within, not based on what we think we are in the world of space and time and what the world of space and time decides we need to do in order to feed the ego, the beast to keep the world of space and time going. But we find out within ourselves through the guidance and the miracles and the inspiration, okay? And action flows from there. Action flows from there no matter what. But when we're in harmony with the universe, action flows from the harmonious relationship we have with everything. When we're in fear and guilt and we have not accepted the atonement or used forgiveness, action flows from the need to defend ourselves against what we think is about to get us or kill us or prevent us from being happy. There's nothing that can prevent. Nothing is mine alone. For he and I have joined in purpose. Thus has learning almost come to its appointed end. A while I work with him to serve his purpose. Then I lose myself in my identity and recognize that Christ is but myself. Okay, a while I work with him to serve his purpose here within space and time, to fulfill my function in the plan of atonement. Because as Edgar Cayce used to call, and when I first read Edgar Cayce, I didn't get exactly what he was talking about until I was able to look at it with the Holy Spirit in the sense of Jesus as the master, he who has mastered space and time and gone beyond it now to control space and time and to aid us through Christ's guidance and Christ's control. Okay. He is our ideal, not as something moral, not in a moral sense, in the sense that we strive to allow our eyes, our tongue, our hands, our feet to have but one purpose and to be given to the Christ, because that's what Jesus did as he fulfilled his function and performed his role. Okay? That's our function too. Now remember, when we begin to align and converge, right, and we follow the guidance that we've been given, we are already living in the resurrection of life. So we need not fear death. And as Jesus says, we need not fear the crucifixion any longer, because there's no need for anyone to be crucified. The fear of the crucifixion is still heavy on our eyes based on our relationship and our association with it, in the meaning that we both gave to Jesus being crucified and those who crucified him. But in the utilization of forgiveness within our own heart and mind, we're freed from that each moment, and we join in Jesus in his resurrection, because his resurrection is our resurrection, and that is the Christ resurrecting in our mind and heart, so that our mind and heart become imbued with the Spirit of one, which is of God, the Spirit of God, which is one. And then we begin to make decisions from the flow of that Spirit in relationship to our soul and its harmony and creative reality in the universe. Okay? Previously, prior to this moment to change, to us being upset, turned around, prior to the turnaround, we're still dealing with fear and guilt as they have controlled us and as they have been the determiner of the decisions that we've made. So we're going back and healing that. Finally, we get to the point where we're no longer healing backwards, but we're able to stay current in the recognition of our own innocence and wholeness and our brothers as well. And then live from within that certainty, within the vortex of the certainty of the completion of our role and our brother's completion of their role, in the vortex of the certainty that salvation has been accomplished, is being accomplished in me as it has been accomplished, and will be accomplished in all as it is being accomplished in us now, in the certainty that space and time is not what we thought, but it was merely a limitation put on dreaming so that we would awaken and couldn't continue to sleep forever, because we have been awake forever and we've been eternal, whole, and perfect. Never not for a single instant has that been true. The dream of separation, which seems to have impacted us in a momentary condition of amnesia, the time that the dream seems to cover bears no relationship to the time that the dreaming took to occur. Okay? It may seem like it's gone on for millions and billions of years, and as Jesus said, it may go on for millions more, except for the plan for the teachers to speed up the necessity, not for the necessity for the millions of years, but for necessity to travel through time linearly to solve the problem of separation. Okay? So it still may seem to take many, many years, but because of the nature of the miracle, we can shorten the time that those millions of years seem to take by utilizing our mind and our hearts, our tongue, our eyes, everything in service to what this lesson is offering to us as a door to make certain the non-necessity of time with each moment in time when our choice is turned over to the Holy Spirit in order for us to complete our function. So Jesus, after his awakening, 40 days in the desert where he underwent his transformation, still had time within which he needed to be about his Father's business. After your own 40 days in the desert, and without the need to suffer, sacrifice, and die any longer, you too will be able to begin to fulfill your function by the grace of God. Because when you're not in the condition of receiving God's grace, you feel out of sorts. Now, that feeling out of sorts isn't meant as a judgmental tool of punishment. It's meant as much like the guidelines, the lines on the side of the road when you drive. It's there to design to keep you on the highway, on the pathway, so that no matter where you turn, your mind is attuned to the signs and the wonders, the signs of when it is to restore your mind to sanity and the wonders that occur when you do. So my eyes, my tongue, my hands, my feet have but one purpose. Of course they have but one purpose because God has but one Son. His one Son has one purpose. That's the complete creation, and to extend it, you are that Son, so you have but one purpose in the completion of creation and the extension of the love of creation. And no matter where you go, even within the dream of space and time, even though this has been a dream of the denial of that, the acceptance of that allows you to begin to operate by the laws of the kingdom and the grace of God. Restore your mind and heart to the memory of who you actually are. Undergo the experience of fulfilling your function in time, coming to the point when there's no longer a necessity for you or your brother for time whatsoever, and then losing our identity, losing ourselves in our true identity, and being restored to the recognition that creation is our only reality, and love is the energy that we use to create.